Well, if you think the federal government is overreaching, the Fox News at Night Common Sense Department would like to inform you that in Las Vegas, it is now illegal to stop or stand on any of the city's 15 pedestrian bridges or the Las Vegas Strip. The new law was unanimously passed by the Clark County Commissioners, and the reasoning is that pedestrian walkways are, quote, designated flow zones. And if you take in the view or tie your shoe, it impedes the flow. So if you decide to pause and take a selfie, you might get your selfie a ticket with a fine of up to $1,000 or 6 months in jail. Common sense thinks that is pretty punishing for a pause. We are told this has nothing to do with the city being riddled with homeless people, buskers, peddlers, or three-card Monty men who prey on suckers. No. This is only about safety. Apparently, there are multiple peer-reviewed, not to mention empirical studies that show if you keep the crowd moving, it prevents congestion, crime, and cash from staying in your pocket. Because let's face it, if you keep walking, that blackjack table keeps getting closer. And did you know that it's also illegal on the Las Vegas Strip to swear? Common sense thinks, what if you swear about getting fined for not walking? Apparently then, what happens in Vegas goes national. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and federal litigator Vikas Bajaj, along with Reform California Chairman Carl DeMaio. Welcome to you both. A little facetious on common sense's part there, Vic, but the ACLU says that this law violates the First Amendment. Quoting here, that might mean the right to protest. That might mean someone who's sharing expressions of their faith. That might mean a street performer. What do you think about this?
Well, those are valid concerns, but you can venture to guess that those would be defenses if there are citations or criminal prosecutions. But it's very important to note, Trace, that this is a trend, both federally with the Chevron Doctrine, which really affects the separation of powers.
Right.
The executive branch shouldn't be able to enforce the law and also interpret ambiguous or silent law. In the same sense, on the state and municipal levels, we don't want commissioners or city councils to invent specificity when laws are ambiguous, and we surely don't want everyone turning into robots to just do what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, and he's right. On the beach and during COVID, Vic, it was the same. It was you had to keep walking. If you're going to be on the beach, you had to keep walking. If you stopped and sat on the sand, man, there were the lifeguards. They were all over you. Now to the government overreach you were talking about, the fishing industry. Here is a fishing worker saying what they're going through. Watch.
On a daily basis, before you leave the dock, you have to tell the government what you're going to fish for. You have a government ankle bracelet on your boat called a vessel monitoring system. They know where you are at all times. They know how fast you're going, what direction you're going in.
I mean, it really is. It's one of those things where they can board your boat at any time, and then they charge you for what they did on the boat while they were out.
Absolutely. Patently ridiculous. But let's not lose sight of the bigger issue. This is the executive branch saying, we know what the law is, but we believe a certain word may be less than specific and clear. So we're going to go after the consumers, the citizens. Now, when you listen to the recordings from the Supreme Court arguments earlier this week, today, you will understand some of the Supreme Court justices were very concerned about notice. So when the law is passed by Congress or a state legislature, we have notice, publications.
Right.
However, when an executive branch, like the Department of Education, for instance, or other law enforcement entities, interpret and enforce, that's judge, jury, and executioner. That's very dangerous.
It really is dangerous. Vikas Bajaj, great to have you on. A great team. DeMaio, Bajaj, the great team. Thank you both.
Up next, like apparently, a law firm.
Yeah, the law firm, Bajaj DeMaio.